Get ready, because you're going to laugh until your cheeks hurt. It's Ralph Begno's 1994 Festivals à l'Horaire with the best Cajun comedians on this planet. And now, welcome your host, Professor of French Studies at the University of Southwestern Louisiana and Cajun folklorist, Monsieur Barry Soleil.
Welcome to Festivals Acadiens weekend. We're very happy to have you. Festivals Acadiens started a long time ago, about 18 years ago, as a celebration of this culture. Some of the parts of the festival started before others. A lot of people don't know that my first real love for studying this culture was the oral tradition, the stories, the jokes. I've been very interested in this for a long time. I got interested in it before Cajun music because it's a wonderful reflection of who we are and how we are. You can tell a lot about people by what makes them laugh. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to find out a lot about you because we're going to hear you laugh quite a bit. This is a long overdue bit of attention to this long neglected part of Cajun culture. We celebrate the music, the food, the crafts, and lots of other things at festivals like Festivals Acadiens. But we need to celebrate this other very important part of the culture. I know it's important, and I got interested in it kind of by accident. I was reading a book, a collection of Louisiana French folk tales by a folklorist who was working back in the 60s. And she said her collection of 33 stories was small but representative of this tradition that was fast dying in our mechanized age. I knew she was wrong because my daddy had a barbershop. And I had heard 10,000 stories in that barbershop, hundreds a day. And so I became interested in taking a look at our stories. And back then, back in the 60s and 70s, this was just during the period of Americanization when just after they stopped us from speaking French in the schools, and a lot of Cajuns felt bad about themselves, and the humor back then, a lot of humor back then was at our own expense. We were laughing at ourselves, but we were laughing at ourselves in outsiders' terms. This is not at all what tonight is about. This is a festival of inside laughter. There are no stories at the expense of Cajuns here. This is stories about Cajuns, but you'll rarely hear, did you hear the one about the Cajun who? Because this is just us. We've never been afraid of laughing at ourselves. Any culture that can't laugh at itself is sad and probably on its way out. We are not on our way out. If that book of 33 stories had been right, we probably wouldn't have anything to tell you. But here, 32 years after that was published, you're going to hear more stories in French from one of our performers, Mr. Ed Desautels, than were in the whole book. 32 years after they said we were dead. Every time they predict that we're about to die, the body sits up in the coffin and asks for another beer. We're not ready for an autopsy yet. We're still doing fine. A lot of the storytellers you're going to hear tonight were involved in such new forums for storytelling as the Liberty Theater show and the International Joke-Telling Contest in Opelousas every April. There's a whole, there's the organizer back there. There's a whole new vitality. And these storytellers that you're going to see tonight represent a new breed of Cajun storytellers who are taking a look around and seeing what's so funny about the way we live. In fact, the first man you're going to hear, Mr. Joe Lilly. He was born and raised in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. He's been telling stories for a long time. And in 1989, he was the winner of the International Cajun Joke-Telling Contest. In recent years, he's made numerous appearances in various parts of the country, spreading his own brand of Cajun humor as far as he can. Would you please welcome Mr. Joe Lilly?
I'm supposed to inventory the audience, find out how many Boudreaux we got here tonight. We need all the Boudreaux to raise their hand. Cool, they're both here tonight. I think they knew we were going to talk about them. You know, the Boudreaux family decided they would get a little research done to figure out their genealogy. So they hired somebody to study the family, turned in the study to them, gave them a bill for $200. They read through it, they called him back, they had to give him $2,000 to keep his mouth shut. Barry told you I grew up in Brobridge. We got any Brobridge people here? All right, go Brobridge, all right. We got 3 old maids that live in Brobridge. Y'all know who they are, you people from Brobridge. 2-story house. 2-story house they lived in. They sit down in the kitchen one night, they just finished supper, and one of them says, you know, she said, it's getting kind of late. She said, I think I'll go upstairs and take a bath. So she goes on up the steps, she goes in the bathroom, starts putting water in the tub, takes her clothes off, looks back at the tub. She says, now, was I getting in the tub or coming out the tub? So the 2 downstairs are kind of listening, you know, and one of them says, I think I'm gonna go up and check on her. So she takes on up the stairs and she gets about halfway up and she stops and she looks around. She says, now, was I going up the stairs or coming down the stairs? Well, the third one, she hears all that commotion. She says, my, those 2. I'm sure glad I'm not like them. Knock on wood. She says, now, was that the front door or the back door? We're really glad y'all are here tonight. We know we had some competition for comedy. Those of y'all that came here, and then if you really wanted some good comedy, you could have stayed home and watched Clinton on TV. We also need to thank Clinton, because as soon as he announced he was doing that, ticket sales went up. I got to tell y'all about my buddy Hebert, too. It's not just the Boudreaux. Hebert was walking down the street, and down the sidewalk in Brobridge one day, and he come across Boudreaux, and he stopped Boudreaux. He said, you know, Boudreaux, he said, I've been meaning to tell you. He said, you need to get some curtains for your house. Boudreaux said, what you mean? He said, man, last Saturday night, I was walking by your house, and I saw through the window, you and your wife, y'all was on the couch, y'all was kissing. Boudreaux said, man, Hebert, man, that joke's on you. I wasn't even home last Saturday night. Y'all remember a few years ago when the Pope came to the U.S.? Not this last time. Went to Denver this last time, but the time before. Remember he appeared in New Orleans, and his next stop was San Antonio? Somebody shake their head, yeah, because that really happened that way. Okay. Any priest here tonight to confirm it? But anyway. They went to leave New Orleans for the trip to San Antonio, and they had trouble with the airplane, couldn't get it going. So they couldn't decide what to do to hurry up. They had a tight schedule to meet, so they wound up getting a limo, a white limo, of course. They got that limo to come to the airport, and they put the Pope in the limo, and they took off toward San Antonio. Well, they got on Interstate 10, about 10 miles out of New Orleans, and the Pope says, driver, pull over. He said, the driver said, what you mean? He said, pull over. The driver said, well, we got a schedule to meet. He said, pull over. They never let me do nothing. Today, I want to drive. So he pulls over, and the driver says, well, what do you want me to do? He said, just sit back and enjoy. Well, the Pope had never driven nothing like that before. So, man, he takes off, and he's going about 95 miles an hour. Well, now remember, you're on Interstate 10. You're going from New Orleans to San Antonio. Got to go through Brobridge. So here's the Breaux Bridge City Police sitting on the interstate, you know, trying to balance the budget over there. And here comes this white streak going by, you know? So finally, man, he takes off after that thing, and he pulls that limo over, man, and the cop goes up to the window, and he taps on the window, and, you know, they got them fogged windows in them big fancy cars, man, and the window go down. Cool. He look at that, he says, wait right here. He goes back to his car, gets on the radio to call George Menard, you know? He said, boss, he says, I got a little problem. The boss said, man, what's your problem? He said, I stopped somebody important, and I don't know what to do. He says, somebody important. He says, this is more important than Frere Kern, the mayor of Breaux Bridge? Yeah, he says, more important than him. He said, he's more important than Charlie Fuselier, our sheriff for St. Martin Parish? Yeah, he says, more important than him. He said, well, is he more important than Edwin Edwards? Oh, yeah, he says, more important than him. He said, my God, dog, who you stopped? He said, I don't know for sure, but he got the Pope driving for him. Well, y'all doing good tonight. We talked about Clinton a little bit earlier. I was thinking the other day, if Clinton had been president, you know, they got the Cubans trying to get out of where they are, and they got the people in Haiti trying to get out of where they are. If Clinton had been president when the Acadians got run out of Nova Scotia, we'd probably be eating gumbo at Guantanamo Bay right now. Be crowded, too. I understand as soon as we take over Haiti, we're going after Jamaica, man. Hey, everybody's making it on tourism. We just soon get in on it. Boudreaux was driving down the highway one day, man. He look in his mirror and he see a state trooper. Man, he floored it. Shoom, took off, man. That state trooper said, man, what is this guy's problem? So, boy, he chased him down, man. That syringe going full blast, you know. And finally, he catch him. He pull him over. He says, sir, he says, let me see your driver's license. So, man, Boudreaux pulled out his driver's license. He said, Mr. Boudreaux, any particular reason you're driving so fast? He said, yeah. He says, about 2 years ago, he said, my wife, she ran away with a state trooper. He said, I thought that was you bringing her back. I got to tell y'all about Grandpa Boudreaux. Grandpa Boudreaux got up early one morning, man. He set out to go fishing. He goes out to the bayou, and he gets in his pirogue, and as he's starting to get things organized in there, he hears this voice. It says, Mister, please help me. And he looks around, and he doesn't see anything. And he continues to get things ready in the pirogue, and he hears, Mister, please help me. And he looks down, and he sees this frog on the ground. And the frog says, Mister, please help me. Well, he picks up the frog, and he looks at the frog. And the frog says, Mister, please kiss me. I'll turn into a beautiful princess. I'll be yours the rest of my life. He looks at it, he puts it in his pocket. He's going, Mister, please. Looks back at the frog, and frog repeats the same thing. I'll turn into a beautiful princess, be yours the rest of my life. He looks at it, he says, at my age, I can get a lot more mileage out of a talking frog. Boudreaux left home one time, man. He was going on a trip. He got on one of them big airplanes over there at that Baton Rouge airport, you know. Man, he got on there, and they take off. And Boudreaux had never been on an airplane before, where they assigned him a seat. He had to sit in that certain seat, you know. So, man, he goes in there, he sits in that seat. Right next to him, they got a Catholic priest. Boudreaux knew that because, you know, he had his collar on. Them priests, they wear that when they're going where you got to pay to get the clerical discount, you know. So anyway, he's sitting next to that priest, and he's minding his own business, man. And they take off, and the stewardess come around, and that's when he found out you can buy some beers on those airplanes, you know. So, man, he bought him a beer, and he drank that real fast. And that priest kind of noticed that, you know, he's drinking that beer fast. And Boudreaux ordered him another beer, man, and he guzzled that down real fast. The priest is looking at him. Man, the third beer, he drank it fast. Well, them beers started working, you know. And man, Boudreaux started kind of getting a little fresh with that stewardess, you know. So, boy, that was aggravating the priest, but he never could he never could get a word in to try to explain to him that he shouldn't be doing that. So finally, man, they got up there to cruising attitude, and man, he cocked back in that seat, you know. And all of a sudden, man, he jumped up. And he said, "Oh, Father," he says, "I was just kind of wondering, by chance, you don't know what causes arthritis?" The priest thinks, he says, "Nah, I can get to him." He said, "Yes, my son, arthritis is caused by excessive drinking and improper behavior with women." Ooh, Boudreaux says, "Man, I was just kind of wondering." Because he said, "This morning I was sitting in that airport terminal there. I picked up that USA Today newspaper. It said the Pope got arthritis." Well, folks, it's been fun. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Mr. Joe Lilly, how about that? The next guy up is another local kid. He's a native of Opelousas, but he smartened up and moved to Lafayette. No, I'm just kidding. He lives in Lafayette now. Just kidding. I like Opelousas. I got family in Opelousas, I swear to God. He now lives in Lafayette, though, and it's no surprise that he's a storyteller. He's been telling stories for 4 years and was the 1993 winner of the International Joke-Telling Contest. No surprise he learned to tell stories. He sells insurance for State Farm. So, would you please welcome Mr. Kent Gonsoulin.
How y'all do? I got to know something before I start. How many real Cajuns we got out there? Push your hand up for me. I hope the rest of y'all are not Yankees. Because you know what my Uncle Borgar say about Yankees. Them Yankees, they're just like hemorrhoids. If they come down and go back up, they're all right. But if they come down and stay down, they're a pain in the behind. I'm all upset about my cousin Kusum. He lost his job. He been working at the Fruit of the Loom plant over in St. Montville at the Drawers factory. Been working there, that's 5 years, him and his brother Papoose. They laid him off just like that after 5 years. You're not gonna believe. But Papoose come home one day, he said, "Kusum, you're not gonna believe what I found out. We can get paid for getting laid off. They call that unemployment, boy." He said, "Oh, let's go. We're going to the office there." So they go down to that unemployment office there. They sit down with that lady. They say, "Hey, we heard that we can get paid after getting laid off at the Drawers factory." Lady said, "That's right, you can." She said, "First you got to tell me what you do at the Drawers factory there." Kusum said, "Me, I am the crotch stitcher." She pulled out that book like that, boy, she looking around. She said, "Man, crotch stitcher. Oh, that is." He said, "You make $50 a week, you're gonna get a check for." That's what I'm talking about. He said, "I go home, collect my $50. Look at Papoose. He said, "Man," she said, "What you do?" He said, "Man, I am a diesel fitter." Oh, heavy machinery book there. Put that out, boy. Diesel fitter. Oh, that's $100 a week. Kusum said, "Hold up. What you mean he get $100 a week, I only get 50? Man, you just the crotch stitcher," she said. "He work with heavy equipment and machinery there. He's a diesel fitter, man. That's much more important." He said, "Lady, sit down, because I'm going to tell you how it is at the Drawers factory." Me and Papoose work in the women's underwear line. When them cassons come down that line, I am responsible for the crotch there. Got to make sure it's smooth, no rough edges like that. I got the most important job in that plant. And when I'm through doing my job, I passed that on down to Papoose. He hold that up. He said, "Me diesel fitter." That's true. I'm telling you. But don't despair too much because Kusun did find him a job. He got on with the sheriff department in Burbridge Police Department there. Now, it wasn't all that easy because he had to go take that entrance test him. So they sit him down, they say, look, we're going to ask you some questions there, and you're going to answer that. If you get them all right, we're going to make you deputy like that. Say, all right, boy, go down the list, they're asking him all that questions there. Finally, they get to the last one. They say, who shot Abraham Lincoln? I tell you the truth, I don't know. He said, well, you got all the rest right. So he said, I tell you what, go home. You come back tomorrow. When you find out the answer, you're going to get the job. He went on home, boy. His wife got in there. She said, Kusun, you got a job, you? He said, no, but it's looking very good. All I did was go for the interview. They already asked me to solve a major murder case. I got to ask y'all this. How many married people we got? Push your hand up in the air. They're married people. Ooh, that's a lot. You see, because I'm struggling with this. I'm married. I hadn't quite celebrated my 2-year anniversary there. My wife, she's somewhere out there. Now, couple of things I don't understand about getting married. See, when you're a Cajun, boy, you got to get married quick. Your mama wants you out the house. In fact, you don't reach, if you're not married by the time you turn 18, boy, you best got out the way. Now me, I drove my mama crazy. I didn't get married till I was 27. And she had a heart. I was bad as a child, man. My mom had one of them mood rings, you know, like that. One of them rings that turn a different color depending on your mood. When I was good, boy, that ring was a nice, pretty blue color. When I was bad, I had a big red mark right about there. But you got to get out the house quick. In fact, why do people give marriage such a bad name? When you're a woman, man, you get married, that's the greatest event of your life there. When you're a man, that's like the funeral. All you friends sit around there, man, he was such a good guy. Why they do that? I can tell you just from my experience there, after I got married, man, my neighbor, they all give marriage a bad name. I'm walking my dog just the other day. My neighbor come out the door like that. He said, boy, Kent, that's a nice dog you got. I said, oh, yeah, I got that for my wife. He said, man, you made a good trade, huh? The other day, my wife and I are sitting around on the couch, boy, and she snuggled up next to me. I got my arm around her. She said, man, honey, I love you so much. She said, I don't know how I would live without you. She said, when we get old, I hope I die first. I said, me too. Now, I got all my relatives, man. I got them to show me how to live a married life. My Uncle Bogar and Tante Aspazi, they've been married, that's about 40 years there. And you know, on their 40th wedding anniversary there, Tante Paz come up and she said, you know, Bogar, you've been having that little silver box over there all these years we've been married. She said, why don't you tell me what's in that box, because you never showed me. He said, well, Aspazi, we've been married so long, he said, I guess it's time to show you. He opened up that box, man, he had 2 ears of corn in that, and a roll of cash, $5,000. She said, I don't understand. He said, well, Aspazi, all these years we've been married, every time I was unfaithful and cheated on you, I put 1 ear of corn in that box. Man, she said, that's terrible. But I guess 2 times in 40 years, man, that's not too bad. She said, but what's that money for? He said, well, that's what I got from selling the corn. That. You know, it's a very romantic story how they met, Aspazi and Bogar. Uncle Bogar always heard that saying all his life when he was a kid. If you want to stay married the rest of your life, don't got yourself a pretty girl for a wife. Find yourself an ugly girl, and you're going to stay happy the rest of your life. He took that to heart, you see. It's when he found Aspazi. Found the ugliest girl what Coda Holmes could find. They got married, man. They lived for a while. And tell you what, after all them years, that ugly started to get in the way there. You can only put up with that for so long. So he went, brought Aspazi to the plastic surgeon like that. He said, Doc, you got to have me out. Do something with that woman's face. He said, all right, well, I'm going to check her out there, and I'm going to let you know what I can do. He gave Tante Paz that examination like that. He come back to Beauregard. He said, I think I can do something. Oh, he said, good, man, that's such a relief. He said, Tammy, what you going to start with, the ears, the eyes, the nose, what? He said, well, I think we're going to start with the nose. Oh, good. He said, that's the worst part. He said, what you going to do, maybe trim some off the edge, make it a little wide or what? He said, well, I thought we would start by putting it in between her eyes there. Now, as I talk about Tante Aspazi, you Cajuns out there, you probably got a Tante Aspazi in your family. About 75 years old, mean like everything, and every time you talk to her, she got to tell you about her medical problems. In fact, I want to do something. I'm going to try to show y'all what she looked like, and you're probably going to recognize her. That's right, you think you got problems? You don't know what problems is. I got Cadillacs in both eyes. I misplaced my hip. Last year, I had cancer of the pantry. I ended up in one of them expensive care units. I had scat scams and KGBs and everything. And let me tell you something else. I went to the doctor yesterday. I said, Doc, man, I hurt everywhere. Every place I touch, I hurt. Look, ay-ay. Ay-ay. So he checked me out. He said, your finger's broken. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. And look, this is private, so don't share this with nobody. I've been having problems expelling gas. But look, I do it all the time, but they don't smell and you can't hear them. So I went to the doctor, I said, Doc, I'm expelling gas all the time. What am I gonna do? He said, but look, I'm expelling, but they don't smell and I can't hear them. Doc told me to take these pills and come back in 2 weeks. So I took them pills. I went back, I said, Doc, I took them pills, but I'm still expelling gas. I said, but the thing is, you still can't hear them, but they could take the paint off the wall. Man, they smell bad. He said, good. Now we got your nose cleared up, we're gonna work on your hearing. Thank y'all very much.
Mr. Kid Gosselin. Y'all must know his family. Yeah. Now I would like to introduce the best looking of the comedians to come out tonight, the nicest smelling, the best dancer, the best dressed. But I have to introduce A.J. Smith instead. A.J. is a native of Lafayette who lost his mind and moved to Lake Charles. Instead, no, I like Lake Charles. I have family there. I swear to God. Actually, he lives in Moss Bluff, and he's chairing a civic committee in Moss Bluff to incorporate and stop the ugly spread of the little communities around. He has appeared on the Nashville Network. He's a regular at the Liberty Theater show at Eunice. And he's one of the funniest guys I know. He's also took a look at his family and came up with some remarkable people to rival Boudreaux and Thibodeau in Noc-Font, Quilot, and Lovelace. Would you please welcome Mr. A.J. Smith?
Bien bon, merci. Lafayette. Cadeau. It's good to be home, yeah. I love Lafayette. But the cops here, I know. I was in a rush coming because I had to get here from Lake Charles like that. I was speeding, the police saw that, pulled me over on the side of the road. As soon as I got on the side of the road like that, I picked up my car phone, dialed 911. I reported a robbery 2 blocks over. The cop had to go. Yeah. And I don't know about y'all, but this time of the year, the season like that, I get that sinus. Y'all get that? Clap if you get that. Yeah, I'm talking about, the sinus headache. God, dog. And I saw on TV the other day, they said the sinus headache that's caused by swollen tissue. I know. I got that. And then I saw another commercial on TV for this product that shrink swollen tissue. I know. Are you call that separation itch? Cool. It works. It works. You put one in each of your nose like that, I can breathe a lot better. But God, when I blow my nose, I leave skid marks, And that's not pretty new. And I get that a lot because I travel a whole bunch. I'm what you call a Cajun migratory worker. I travel from festival to festival, picking up beer cans, And during the off season, I hit the mobile home parks, pick up the cans behind the trailer like that, nigga. But I didn't always have this job. For a while, I was a commercial fisherman, but the game warden picked up my dynamite. I had a job in the petroleum agriculture department, Actually, I stole drill pipe and sold it to the farmers. And I gotta tell you, traveling around like I do, I find out it's invigorating to me to find out what people are doing that have lost their jobs, especially in that bad economic infection like we got there, There's a fella in Basile, just out of Lake Charles. In Basile, manufacture bicycle. Beautiful. I look at that red, blue, green bicycle, beautiful. And the more I look at that, I realize not one of them bicycles have a handlebars, and then none of them have a seat. I say, hey, my friend, what kind of bicycle is that? No handlebars and no seat. He said, that's a special bicycle I manufacture. That's for the Louisiana old man who had lost his behind and don't know which way to turn. You've been there, huh? They got a tandem bicycle like that. And my cousin, Loveless, now. That's my uncle, non Funky Lot's boy. Well, some of y'all know Funky Lot, huh? Because, c'est bien bon. Funky Lot, he got a bad problem because he done lost his job. Right after he lost his wife. He had a good job, too. He had a good job. Every Monday morning throughout the week, the taxi cab pick him up 7 o'clock, bring him to work. Well, one Monday morning, the cab got there. He told the driver, he said, my friend, he said, you don't have to bring me now. He said, at 7 o'clock. He said, you can come at 8. Got a big raise and promotion. Well, the driver said, no problem. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll bring your wife to work. Come back, pick you up, bring you to work. He said, what? He said, my wife don't work. Well, he said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, I'll bring her to work. I'll bring you to work. Come back, pick her up, bring her to work. Huh? He said, they got some humbug going on there. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, bring me at the parking lot at Kmart's. Drop me off. Come back, get my wife, bring her to work. Come get me, bring me where she works. He said, I got to see that. The driver did all that, picked him up, bring him in front one of them Oriental massage parlor. He said, there? The driver said, yeah, right there. He said, my wife, he said, 6 months, right there. He said, go get her. I can't believe, man, the driver went inside that place there. In no time at all, this chair come out the front window, a table through the door, glass is breaking, bottles flying everywhere, dragging this woman out the front steps by her hair. Lovelace said, that's not my wife. The driver said, I know, it's my wife. I gotta go back for yours. And he took to drinking after that. I said, Lovelace, how long can you go without drinking? He said, about 2 blocks. It's like, well, I asked him, I said, since you got laid off from your job, what you been doing to make money? And he said, I got a nutria farm. I know. I said, what good is a nutria farm? He said, you don't see all the products advertised in the newspaper they make out of nutria? If you overweight, you want to lose some weight, they got that artificial sweetener, the NutraSweet. And you women got that beauty soap, that complexion soap, Neutrogena. Y'all didn't ever wonder about that? I told Lovelace, I said, you got the right idea, but you're on the wrong track. If you want to make some big money with them Nutria, you got to get a government contract. Can you imagine how many Nutria-powered submarines they got up and down the Mediterranean right now? You know how many Nutria it takes to push a big boat like that? I don't know how many of y'all know that in Lake Charles we got the gambling casino on the lake there. By applause, how many have been to the casino? By applause, let me hear y'all. We got a few. They're carrying it too far. Because now we got video parking meters. I parked the other day, I put a quarter in the parking meter like that, I pulled the handle, I lost my Buick. I know, I went the next day, I got a Pinto and 2 Volkswagen. We're gonna have a new state motto: union, justice, confidence, deuces, and one-eyed jacks. Me, I'm getting a bass barge, one of them party barges. I'm opening up a bourrée barge on the side. Yeah. Heck yeah. Card table, 4 chairs, ice chest of beer. Yo, come on down. Come on down. Heck yeah. And if you hadn't been, this is the way where you park over in the parking lot and you ride the bus and you get to the landing. Well, me and Lovelace did that. We took the truck, parked, rode the bus. By the time we got to the landing where they bring the boat, this fella come running across from over there, the parking lot, hollered about, who's that got a Great Dane in the pickup truck back there? Who that owned that Great Dane back there in the pickup truck? And Lovelace said, hey, that's my dog. What's wrong with you? Oh, he said, well, my dog just killed your dog. Huh? He said, what kind of dog you got killed? A Great Dane. He said, a Chihuahua. No. He said, how in the world your Chihuahua killed my Great Dane? He said, he got stuck in his throat. As soon as we got on board, Lovely said, man, where's them one-armed bandit? He said, I gotta play the slot machine. He said, I need them slot machine. I said, look, they're all over there. Play all you want. Me, I'm gonna be at the blackjack table. That's my game, blackjack. In no time at all, Lovelace was over there with a sack full of quarters. He said, Smith, look at that, look at that. I said, what? Where'd you get that? He said, shh. He said, they got a machine what's broke over there. He said, let's go play it till they figure it out. I said, yeah, I got over there. I said, where it's at, where it's at? He said, shh. I said, that's the change machine. And this guy come up to Lovelace. He said, Lovelace, he said, you still selling your truck? He said, yeah. You want to buy it? $200. $200, huh? He said, I'll tell you what, knock off 20%, I'll buy it. She said, wait a minute. He went to one of them waitress. He said, babe, help me out. He said, if I give you $200, less 20%, how much you take off? She said, everything but my earring and high heels. And he come by that honest year because he never finished 3rd grade. In 3rd grade, man, the teacher was writing on the blackboard. She had to raise up high to write like that. And when she did, a little boy was laughing in the back of the class. When she turned around, she said, what are you laughing at like that? And he said, teacher, he said, when you raised up high like that, he said, I could see under your dress, I see you garter that. She said, the very thought of that. You go home for 2 weeks and don't you come back. And she was mad. And she turned back to write some more. And when she did, man, another little boy started laughing. She said, what are you laughing at? He said, me too. Just like him. I saw it too. She said, you go home for 3 weeks and don't you come back. And she was infuriated like that. Well, she went to write again, and she was so mad she broke the chalk. Well, she bent over to pick it up. Loveless him, he just started packing his bag. And she said, where do you think you're going? He said, man, what I saw, I don't think I'm coming back at all. Merci bien.
Mr. A.J. Smith. I told y'all he was crazy. The next storyteller that we're going to be hearing is a man who's very dear to me. He was one of the first people that I met when I started collecting stories back in 1974. And the point of that storytelling venture was to collect stories in French. He and his brother B were among the first people that Ralph Rinsler recorded and worked with back in 1964 when the Newport Folk Festival and the Smithsonian Institution began sending people down here to help us, to remind us of the value of our culture. He's not a stand-up comic like some of the other people that you're going to hear tonight. He's a storyteller. He performs most often at the grocery store down the road. And his wife tells me that he is perfectly willing to stop work on his tractor and run over to that grocery store when he thinks of a story, leaving the work in the field. And he tells us stories in French. So for those of you who don't understand, he has one story in English. For those of you who don't understand, tap the person sitting next to you and I bet you they can help you out. And I'll ask you to understand that this is a very important part of this evening because the new stuff has all been told in English, as you heard, and that's a very important part of our transition, I suppose. But the old stuff is important too. It's the roots. It's where we come from. And that language represents a very old sense of humor that is very, very important to avoid losing. Let me put it to you in another way. Is Jolie Blonde sung in English still Cajun music? It's very important to preserve this, and we're very delighted that he accepted an invitation to come with us tonight from Riedel, Louisiana, and Mamou. Would you please welcome Mr. Ed Desertel.
Merci, Barry. Il y avait une vieille femme un jour, elle a reminisce sur la passé. Alors, ça lui était prépassé des portraits. Et elle est venue sur un tout petit portrait, c'est un portrait de son mari. Elle s'est mise à jongler, voir qui elle pouvait faire avec ce portrait. Alors, ça a été à la shop et elle a demandé à un photographe. Elle dit, tu peux faire quelque chose avec ce tout petit portrait? Il dit, madame, moi je peux faire n'importe qui tu veux avec ce portrait. Elle dit, j'avais jonglé de le faire grossir. Il dit, je peux le faire aussi gros que vous le voulez. Comment gros vous le voulez? Bien, elle a dit, elle voulait. Et ils ont pris la mesure. Elle dit, j'ai été dit que tu pouvais le mettre en couleur. Oui, il dit, je peux le mettre en couleur. Il dit, d'autres choses, madame? Elle dit, la cicatrice, il a sur sa joue. Elle dit, tu peux y ôter ça? Il dit, ouais, madame, si vous voulez, je vais y ôter. D'autres choses, madame? Elle dit, tu connais, je l'aimais mieux sans sa moustache. Et elle dit, là, il a cette moustache. Tu peux y ôter cette moustache? Oui, madame, il dit, c'est pas de trouble du tout, je vais y ôter. Il dit d'autres choses, madame? Elle dit, quand il était jeune, il a pris ce portrait. Il était connu pour avoir les plus beaux cheveux qu'il y avait. Elle dit, tu crois que tu pourrais y ôter ce vieux chapeau, là? Il dit, ouais, madame, si vous voulez y ôter le chapeau, on va y ôter son chapeau. Il dit d'autres choses, madame? Elle dit non. Grossis le portrait, comme je t'ai dit. Mets-le en couleur. Ôtis sa cicatrice. Ôtis sa moustache. Et ôtis son chapeau. Il dit, madame, vous se rappelez à quel bord de sa tête il séparait ses cheveux? Elle dit non, je ne me rappelle pas, mais elle dit, je ne connais pas qu'on fait timidement ça. Elle dit, tu vas voir et quand quel bord de sa tête il sépare ses cheveux quand il va y ôter son chapeau. Et ce vieux homme, il se faisait croire qu'il était malade. Et un jour, il dit à son garçon, il dit, mon garçon, Pape ne va pas être ici avec toi beaucoup longtemps. Parce qu'il dit, je suis beaucoup malade. Beaucoup malade. Son garçon dit, qu'est-ce qu'il y a de wrong avec toi? Bien, il dit, je ne connais pas. Il dit, c'est ça qu'il trouve. Il dit, il n'y a pas de docteur qui peut trouver qui c'est qu'il y a de wrong avec moi. Son garçon dit, écoute, pape, demain matin, il dit, je vais faire un appointement et on va aller voir mon docteur à moi. Il dit, il est jeune, il est up-to-date, il a du nouveau equipment. Et s'il y a quelque chose de wrong avec toi, je te promets que lui, il va connaître. Alors, c'est le lendemain, ils ont été voir le jeune docteur. Le jeune docteur l'a bien examiné, d'un bout à l'autre. Et quand il a fini, il dit au vieux, il dit, Pape, il n'y a absolument rien, il dit, que moi je peux faire pour toi. Absolument rien. Mais il dit, je connais que c'est wrong avec toi, et si tu veux t'aider, tu peux revenir Gaillard. Il dit, Pape, il dit, t'as pris t'abuser à faire l'amour. Le vieux homme me dit, qu'est-ce que c'est-à-dire, Doc? Il dit, trop d'amour pour votre âge. Trop d'amour pour votre âge. Alors, s'il a demandé au docteur, il dit, qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fais? Il dit, pour y revenir Gaillard. Bien, il dit, la seule chose que tu as besoin de faire pour y revenir Gaillard, c'est couper l'amour des moitiés. Le vieux homme l'a jonglé un bout de temps. Il dit, c'est tout ça que j'ai besoin de faire, c'est couper l'amour des moitiés. Le docteur dit, coupe l'amour des moitiés et tu vas revenir Gaillard. Et le vieux homme là, a jonglé un bout de temps. Il dit, Doc, il dit, quelle moitié faut que je coupe? Et le jonglage ou le parlage? This little boy was in his mother's kitchen. And she said to him, she says, son, take this bucket, go to the bayou, and get mama some drinking water. And she said, walk in the bayou, go up where the water is clear and where there's a good current and the water is fresh, and bring mama some drinking water. So the boy took the bucket, he went to the bayou, and he came right back. So when he came back, his mother asked him, she said, son, where's my drinking water? He says, in the bayou. She says, where's my bucket? He says, in the bayou. Well, she said, what happened? He says, Mama, I did just like you told me to do. I walked up to that bayou, and he says, I walked into the bayou up to where the water was running, and it was clear. And he says, when I came to catch that water, he says, Mama, I put that bucket on the top of a big alligator's head. He says, Mama, that alligator was as long as from here to the wall. His eyes were this big, his mouth was open this wide, his teeth were this long. And he was as mad as he could be. She says, son, now you go back there and get my bucket and get my water and bring it back here. That alligator's gone. You scared it more than it scared you. He says, Mama, I don't know how scared that alligator was, but I'm going to tell you something. That water ain't good to drink. Si Pierre avait un clos de maillis, et les Chaouites, après, ils mangeaient tout son maillis. Alors, ils ne voyaient pas assez bien pour tirer à la carabine, pour tuer les Chaouites. Et c'était contre la loi de les tirer en fusil. Alors, il a lu dans un magazine, et il y avait un homme qui dressait des macaques à tirer à la carabine. Et ça haïssait beaucoup les Chaouis. Alors, ce Pierre s'ordonnait un macaque. Et le macaque a été délivré avec sa petite carabine. Et le bogue a demandé à Pierre, il dit, t'as un chien à Chaoui? Oh oui, il dit, j'en ai un. Il dit, il est bon? Oui, il dit, il est bon des fois et des fois, il n'est pas trop bon. Mais il dit, je tue des Chaouis avec, des fois. Ben, mais le bouc lui dit, je te garantis ce macaque-là, je te le garantis. Et quand le macaque a été délivré, si Pierre ne pouvait pas espérer pour aller avec son macaque et son chien au Chaoui. Alors c'est le matin, il est parti avec le macaque par la main, s'en allait comme ça. Et quand ça arrivait au clos de maillis, au bord du bois, il a lâché le chien. Et le chien a été un arbre. Et quand il est arrivé, si Pierre a attrapé la carabine, il l'a donné au macaque. Le macaque a monté dans l'arbre. Tout à l'heure, il a tendu la carabine. Et le Chaoui a tombé. Ça repartit, il a été un autre arbre. Et quand il est arrivé, il a donné la carabine au macaque. Le macaque a monté. Il a resté un bout de temps. Il a tiré le chaoui. Le chaoui a tombé. Ils ont fait ça 2 ou 3 fois. Et c'est venu à un mauvais arbre. Un arbre qui avait des piquants, on appelle ça des garoffiers. Et le macaque ne voulait pas monter. Alors, ce Pierre l'a encouragé jusqu'à tout l'heure et le macaque l'a monté. Et puis, c'est tout graffiant, il s'est planté des piquants. Il a été en haut et il a resté. Jusqu'à tout l'heure, il a descendu. Quand il a descendu, saignant, il était tout graffiant comme ça. Il était fâché, il est venu, il s'est planté devant le chien, il a tiré le chien entre les 2 yeux. Alors, Pierre a pris le chien, puis il s'est retourné chez lui. Il a pris le macaque, il s'est retourné chez lui. Et le beau qui avait vendu le macaque l'a appelé. Il dit, j'étais intéressé de connaître comment la chasse avait été. Bien, il dit, ça a bien été pour un bout de temps. Mais là, il dit, il était un arbre, et il ne voulait pas monter, mais je l'encourageais, je l'ai fait monter. Il a monté en haut, il n'y avait pas de chaoui, il a descendu, et il a tiré mon chien entre les 2 yeux, et il l'a tué. Et le bourgle dit, je connaissais, il y avait quelque chose que je devais dire, et il dit, j'ai oublié de dire. Il dit, il y a une chose que ce macaque-là va pas endurer. Il dit, ça, c'est un chien menteur.
Ed Desatel. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Merci ça. Thank you. It was good. Our next folks, because this is a multi-person act, is from Oral, Louisiana. And they stayed there. I got relatives there too. They've performed for conventions and banquets and meetings and festivals throughout the South, and they've also started to do something kind of interesting. They've been opening for music concerts around. They opened for Eddie Raven and also the Fabulous Boogie Kings, and most recently for Aaron Neville on his tour through South Louisiana. Would you please welcome the current reigning champions of the International Cajun Joke-Telling Contest, the Conk Brothers. Hey, Laba! Well, goodbye, Joe. Me gotta go, me oh my oh. Me gotta go pull that B-rope down the bayou. My Yvonne, sweetest one, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Oh, jumble high in a crawfish pie and a feely gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my...
Hello, is the manager in? Hello, is the manager in?
Hold up, whoa, wait, man.
Is the manager in?
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, what's going on? What do you think you're doing?
I have a load of pepper here.
What?
1 load of pepper, Municipal Auditorium, Lafayette, Louisiana. Where I gotta bring that?
Well, you have the right place. I don't know, some red pepper, some black pepper?
No, some toilet pepper.
Don't you see all these people out there? They're all here for the Cajun Comedy Festival.
Y'all in the festival business? My name's Gaston. I'm in the toilet pepper business. I used to work in a prune juice factory. Yeah, I was a taster in a prune juice factory. I quit that. I'd work one day, then I'd have to take 2 days off. Just can't make no money like that.
You have no idea how embarrassing this is. We're sharing the stage with some of the finest Cajun comedians in the world. We got Ralph Begnaud coming up behind us.
Ralph Begnaud?
Huh?
Ralph Begnaud's here?
Yeah.
That's my buddy, Ralph Begnaud. Ralph lives in Maurice, Louisiana. Yeah. That's my good friend. In fact, Ralph, I'm gonna tell you how good of friends we are. Ralph told me, he said, Gaston, anytime you're anywhere near Maurice, Louisiana, I don't care what time it is, day or night, you come see me, come visit me. 2 weeks ago, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I left the city bar. I said, I'm gonna go see my buddy Ralph. He told me to go visit him. Man, I found his house. I knocked on the door, and his wife answered the door. I said, ma'am, I know it's kind of late, but is this where the great Ralph Begnaud lives? She said, yeah, just bring him on in, lay him on the couch right there. Y'all got a show to do or something?
Yeah,
it's good to be back in Lafayette, Louisiana. Last time I was in Lafayette was back when I was in high school for a championship baseball game. Karen Crow High School was to play Lafayette High School. Can you imagine that? A little town like Karen Crow? For those of y'all that don't know, Karen Crow is a little Cajun town about 2 miles north of here. It's not a big town. Our phone book, we got 1 yellow page. We got some good news this week. They're finally gonna put a traffic light in Karen Crow. Man, everybody's excited. They all got the colors picked out and everything. Last week, we had to close the library for half a day. Somebody checked the book out. Then when they brought it back, they weren't even through coloring it. Our coach back then was Coach Roy Vizet. Coach Vizet was a good man. He had one bad habit. He hated empires. Then he was in a bad mood already, because on the way to Lafayette, we caught us a flat tire. I hate that. There you are on the side of the road, everybody passing, they all turn their head and look at you, but nobody stopped to help you. You notice that? Finally, one of them state petroleums drove up. He rolled down his window, and he stuck his head out. He said, hey, y'all got a flat tire there? Of course, he said, no, we was just riding around. Them other three swole up on us. But we made it to Lafayette. We got here, buddy. We got here, and that ball game barely got started, and them empires started messing up. I want y'all to understand one thing. You see, Lafayette didn't want no empires from Karen Crow. And Karen Crow didn't want no empires from Lafayette. So they brought in some empires from Alexandria. That was all right except for one thing. They didn't understand Cajun French. that ball game barely got started, and that home plate umpire started messing up. Coach Vizay come running out the dugout. He went straight to that home plate umpire, looked at him right between the eyes. He said, "Eh, mon demi-crapaud, toi, là. Qu'on avec toi, t'es fou?" And he started to walk back towards the dugout. That umpire started following him. He said, "Coach Vizay, what did you call me?" Coach Vizay kept on walking. He said, "Coach Vizay, what did you call me?" Coach Vizay said, "You didn't understand that?" He said, "Now you know I don't understand Cajun French. Now what did you call me?" Coach Vizay said, "Go ahead and guess. You've been guessing at all the balls and strikes anyhow." That umpire said, "Coach Vizay, let me tell you something right now. When you get between these two white lines on this here baseball field, I'm the boss. You understand that? B-O-S-S, boss." Coach Vizay said, "Yeah," he said, "I understand that. If you spell it backwards, it's double S-O-B." That umpire said, "Coach Vizay, don't get smart with me." He said, "I'll bite your head off." Coach Vizay said, "You don't want to do that either. If you bite my head off, you got more brains in your stomach than you got in your head." Coach Vizay said, "Umpire," he said, "let me ask you a question." He said, "All right." He said, "If I call you a couillon, you going to kick me out the game?" Umpire said, "You darn right I will." He said, "If I don't call you a couillon, if I just think it, you gonna kick me out the game?" He said, "No, coach." He said, "I can't kick you out the game for something you're just thinking. I'm not a mind reader. Why you want to ask me a question like that?" Coach Vizay said, "Because I think you're a couillon." Don't let me interrupt your show or anything.
This has gone on long enough, okay? We got a show to do. Go deliver your pepper or whatever it is you came here to do. And we're gonna move on with this, okay? Lance, let's try to do this from the top. I apologize. Jambalaya and a crawfish pie and a filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my share of me-o. Well, big guitar, fill fruit jar, and the gay-o. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. What jambalaya and a crawfish pie, filet gumbo.
Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou.
Now you're really making a fool out of yourself. You really are. What do you think you're doing?
I always wanted to be a moving star. And I saw the piano and the guitar and everything, and I thought maybe I could be a part of your show.
A part of our show. You can't just walk in and be a part of the show. I mean, we've rehearsed this, we've prepared for it. You don't know the first thing about putting on a show.
Well, I thought maybe y'all could learn me that.
You don't know the first thing about it. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. We do an opening song, and then we kind of chat with the people a little bit, let them know something about us, and then we go ahead and do our songs that
Let them know a little bit about yourself.
Well, that's what we do.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, at this particular time in my show, I'd like to tell y'all a little bit about myself. My name's Gaston. I come from Cajun Louisiana. I come from a wonderful family. My grandparents wonderful people. They just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. 50 years of marriage. That's nice, huh? That morning, my grandma told my grandpa, she said, "Pop, what you say I go and kill a chicken and make a gumbo?" Pop said, "Why you want to blame a chicken for something that happened 50 years ago?" When the celebration was over that night, Grandma turned to Grandpa. She said, "Pop, I'm proud of you." He said, "Eh?" She said, "Pop, I'm proud of you." He said, "Eh?" She said, "I'm proud of you." Oh, he said, "I'm proud of you too." But Pop was my friend. I could always go to Pop for some advice. I'll never forget one time back in high school, I got my report card. I had 4 F and 1 D. I went to Pop. I said, "Pop, look at that." Ooh, he said, "Gaston, 4 F and 1 D. I said, "Yeah, Pop." I said, "What you think I'm doing wrong?" Well, he said, "It looks to me like you're spending too much time on one subject." Man, when I showed my report card to my daddy, that was a different story. He got mad, man. In fact, I went right back to school, and I went straight to my teacher. I said, "Teacher, look, I don't want to scare you, but my daddy said if I don't start making better grades, somebody gonna get a whipping." Then there's my mama. Not much I can say about my mama. You see, when I was young, she never would breastfeed me. She said she just liked me like a friend. I'd like to tell you all about my Uncle June. Very good man, goes to church in Carencro. In fact, every December, every Sunday in December, he leads the Christmas choir. And he invited me and my wife to go listen to him. And I went over there and got into church, and man, there was Uncle June leading that choir. "Leon, Leon." I went up to him, I said, "Uncle June, if you take that song book and turn it around, it said, Noel, Noel." Then there's my Aunt Marie.
Wait, hold on, hey, hold on. You're missing the point. I'm talking about an introduction of the band, not a life history of yourself.
Oh, introduce
Just
the
a
band.
nice, short, professional introduction of the band.
Introduce the band. Ladies and gentlemen, extinguished guests, I'd like to thank y'all for letting us come up here and expose ourselves in front of y'all. At this particular time in my show, I'd like to introduce the band. Okay, we got that out of the way.
This isn't working. Let's try something else. Look, I'll tell you what, this is the part of the show where we do our original song. So if you want to back off and let us do that, we can continue on with that part of the show.
I wrote a song.
You wrote a song.
Wrote a song back when I was first to get married. In fact, I keep the words right here close to my heart.
Now wait a minute, that's not where your heart is.
Yeah, right here.
Come on, that's not where your heart is.
Ever since I was a little bitty boy, my grandma would come up to me and she'd go, "Shy little heart."
How you gonna do a song with us? I mean, we got keyboard, we got guitar, we play instruments.
I play an instrument too. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Cajun French accordion, sometimes known as a Carenco air compressor. I'd like to play for y'all right now one of the most famous Cajun songs of all time. In fact, most Cajuns refer to this song as the Cajun national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, Jolie Blanc.
Okay, Lance, let's try to follow this guy. Well, in C. Okay, ready? 2,
Hold on.
3,
Something's
4.
not right here.
What's the
I
matter?
told y'all this was the national anthem. You're supposed to stand up for the national anthem. Now, come on, everybody stand up. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. On 4. Ready?
Something's
2,
still
3.
not right.
What's the matter now?
For the national anthem, you're supposed to put your hand on your heart. Everybody put your hand on your heart. Don Terrio, look at me. You want to put your hand on your own heart, please? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for that nice round of applause. Kind of make me feel like the baby that just wet its diaper. Might not show on the outside, but it sure gave me a nice warm feeling on the inside. Thank you.
For the Koch brothers. Larry, Mark, and Lance. Let's see if you learned something. This is a quiz. Boudreaux and Thibodeau have become some of our favorite characters. And you know, they live in L'Anse-à-Guigiche. Y'all know where L'Anse-à-Guigiche is? Some of you who watch the Liberty Theater show know where L'Anse-à-Guigiche is. C'est juste l'autre bord de bord ici, entre ici et là-bas, juste en traversant des petits ponts qui est plus là. So, there was an armored car going through L'Anse-à-Guigiche, and it hit a bump in the road, and the roads are bad ever since the bridge is out. Especially if you try to cross that ditch where the bridge was. Anyway, it hit the bump, and a sack of money fell out. Well, you know, they noticed that when they got back, and they sent somebody to look for it. And so the agent, started looking around, and he heard that somebody that matched Boudreaux's description had been seen with a sack on his back going toward his house. So he asked around, and they told him where he lived. So he went over there and he said, "Hello, Mr. Boudreaux, I have a few questions for you, please." Boudreaux said, "Excusez-moi, moi je parle pas en anglais du tout. Comprends pas l'anglais du tout." "Okay, I'll be right back." Went back to the little store, and he hired somebody to go and translate for him. He brought Thibodeau. So Thibodeau goes, he says, "Tell him that we're looking for a sack of money that fell out of the truck, our truck, when it hit a bump in the road." Il dit, il a pris chercher un sac d'argent qui a tombé de leur truck quand ils ont frappé un trou. Il dit, moi, j'ai pas vu rien de sac. Moi, je connais pas rien pour un sac. He says he doesn't know anything about a sack of money. Well, tell him that a lot of his neighbors saw a man who looked exactly like him carrying a sack that looked exactly like ours toward his house. Il dit qu'il y a un tas de monde qui a vu un homme pareil comme toi avec un sac pareil comme leur sac après aller à ta maison. Il dit, je te dis, je connais pas rien pour un sac. Dis que je connais pas rien pour un sac. J'ai pas de sac d'argent. He says he doesn't have a sack. He doesn't know anything about a sack. Well, I don't know what to do. Thibodeau said, you want to tell him? You want him to tell if he knows about the sack? He said, yeah. He said, well, I can help you. He said, all right. You got a gun? Yeah. Well, he said, you hold that gun to his head, and I'm going to tell him that you're going to shoot him if he doesn't tell you where that sack is. So he said, well, that might work. So he pulled the gun out, put it to his head. Il dit, il va tirer. Si tu dis pas, il le sac. Boudreaux dit, écoute, le sac est droit là, à côté du coin dessus la galerie. Tu tournes à la gauche, et puis je l'ai planté droit là, puis il est caché entre la maison et l'arbre. I said, what did he say? He said, you go ahead and shoot him, you ugly sneaking bastard. Just got to pay attention. And now I would like to introduce to you the wise guy who got the idea to do all of this. Started last year on his own and had the brilliant idea of opening it up to some of our area's finest storytellers and comedians. And we're so delighted he did, and we're so delighted that he brought the oral tradition into Festivals Acadiens celebration. He's a former winner of the International Joke-Telling Contest in Opelousas. He's a runner-up on Showtime's Funniest Man USA contest. Just back from a stay in Branson, Missouri. Would you please welcome the man in the red tennis shoes, Mr. Ralph Begnaud.
How many Cajuns in here? By applause, Cajun! Keeyaw! Well, first of all, for the people that's not from here, I have to explain the word Keeyaw. How you explain that? Get. Keeyaw. The word keeyaw, it's a Cajun term. It comes from a little bitty keeyaw bird, a little bird called a keeyaw bird. It's about that big. It lays an egg about that big. And it turns around and goes, keeyaw. And if you look up the word keeyaw in the dictionary, it says, I am amazed. So from now on, whenever you hear the word keeyaw, it means I am amazed. So maybe tomorrow morning, after you and Mama have a good night tonight, one of y'all gonna roll over to the other one and go, Keeyaw. Keeyaw. That's what I had to tell the people in Branson, Missouri. They had no idea what Keeyaw meant. What's going on? Now, Kutuo, we got the lottery here in Louisiana. How many lottery winners do we have here? By applause, lottery winners. Keeyaw. How many people here voted for the lottery because the teachers were going to get a pay raise? By applause. How many teachers do I have in the audience tonight? By applause. Did y'all get a raise? Keeyaw. Louisiana politics, go figure. Ain't no way. The only thing that I seen that the lottery gave us was I work by myself, Keeyaw. Bien merci. You're right, you're right. The teachers didn't get put on. You can book that. They didn't get put on. Well, I've seen now my governor, I'm not going to say y'all voted for him. I'm going to say my governor. He passed the lottery, and all I saw was that my governor got a brand new wife. My governor is 66 years old, and his new wife is 29 years old. Keeyaw! Her and a cold glass of water could kill him. Now we got, in the state of Louisiana, we got video poker. Video poker. Before it came to Louisiana, it was in Biloxi. All the Cajuns used to get on them buses and go to Biloxi. Anybody from Biloxi, Mississippi? Are you from Bay St. Louis? What you doing here? All the money's over there, Keeyaw. Leave our tax money alone, okay? Just... Me, I get on. Now they got buses. They got buses that come to town and picks you up and brings you to Mississippi to go play cards and video poker and all that stuff. Comprends ce que je dis? You understand what I'm telling you? I get on the bus. I go over there. Now I'm playing the video poker machine, and I'm standing next to this man who was obviously from Mississippi, because he talked like that. He had an accent. He said, "How you play this machine, boy?" I went, "Keeyaw." I said, "Nick, T-boy, you put in your dollar bill, it gives you 5 cards and shows you, and that's it, that you can win." Boom. He goes, "Okay." He took out his dollar bill, he put it in, it gives him his first 5 cards. Clack, 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 clack. You know how they make that noise? He got the king, queen, jack, 10 of hearts, and an off card. All he needs is the ace, and he gets a raw flush. That's an instant $500. He flips draw, clack, it turned around. He caught the ace. He looks at me and he goes, "Hey, was that an ace or a 1? I said, "It's a 1, Keeyaw. Get away from the machine." It started paying off. Clack, 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 clack. He goes, what's that noise? I said, the valve's a bad neg. It needs oil. Get away from the machine. Keeyaw. Sometimes you just got to take advantage of people like that, man. That's how Cajuns are, man. They had a casino that was closing down in Biloxi one night. They was locking the doors. Clack, clack, clack. Little Cajun woman walked up there and she's knocking on the door. Pop, 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 pop. The two managers, they look out the door. She goes, hey! You ever notice when a Cajun gets excited, his voice changes? Hey! She goes, I've got $2,000 right here. $2,000 right there. I want to throw the dice one more time. Please, I feel lucky. I think I can win. Please let me throw the dice. They say, well, come on in. They let her in there. She walks up to the dice table. She picked up the dice. She put down her $2,000. She stepped back from the table. She took off her raincoat. Elle était tout nue comme un va. Naked like a worm. You understand what I'm telling you? Naked like a worm. She took the dice and she threw the dice and she yelled, 7! Picked up the $4,000, put on her raincoat. She walked out the door. One manager said to the other one, hey man, you seen that 7? The other one goes, no, I thought you was watching the dice, Queen. This Cajun is coming back to Louisiana with $4,000. Bringing back that money. That's a Cajun. Be proud that you're a Cajun. Am I right, Cajun? Now, women, back me up on this, are not Cajun men the most hard-headed things you've ever seen? T'appelles ça en front, you call that in French? Tête de. Hard head. That's hard head, that. Get. Women will not a Cajun man ride around until he runs out of gas before he'll stop and ask for directions. I know what I'm doing. Shut up, you. I know where I'm at. And you ever notice when they start running out of gas, they lower the radio? Striking some nerves in here, huh? And when it's past E, he's going to tell his wife, shut up, you, don't say nothing till we get there. They're hard-headed. They're hard-headed. When a Cajun man's mind is set, it's set. When he made up his mind, he has made up his mind. Comprends? You understand what I'm telling you? Now, women, back me up on this. Cajun men are not the most romantic people in the world. You see, look at women going, oh no. She's going, oh, you, oh, no, not you. They're not. You have people like Julio Iglesias. You know Julio? To all the girls I've loved before, they never taken my way. Look, the women, they're going, oh. Now, a black man will walk up to his woman and he will sing to her. He will walk up to her and he'll say, why don't you tell me where it hurts now, baby? And I'll do my best to make it better. A Cajun man, he'll walk up to his woman and go, hey! You got an itch you want me to scratch? is the truth. See, Cajun people are creatures of habit. They are creatures of habit. A Cajun man will take his beer, he'll drink his beer, he will set it down on this stump, he'll go fishing for 14 hours, go shrimping, come back, that beer better be right there when he comes back. Am I right, people? It better be right there. Creatures of habit. That's how we are. Now get. Get for you people out there in television land means look out. To them, everything is a landmark. Cajuns have landmarks. When we came all the way down from Canada, we didn't know we had to go 14.7 miles. We didn't know we had to go 13.3 miles. No. When we give directions, it's very simple. You go to the Blanche tree where you hung that cat last year. Take a right. Oh, you don't know where the Blanche tree is at? Then you don't belong back there. Or they'll give you this thing. Oh yeah, go to the red light, turn straight. If that don't give a Yankee a brain cramp, nothing will. You understand what I'm telling you? Turn straight. And then they go straight, straight, straight. What's that, 3 miles? Landmarks. That's how we give directions here. I got a buddy of mine, and what's his name? Joe started talking about my buddy Zeno David. His name is Zeno David. Joe don't know his last name. I know him better than Joe. Zeno David, his daddy was the manager of the trash pile. The city dump, whatever you want to call that. The trash pile, we call that. You going to the trash pile? Yeah, bring this. Yeah, the trash pile. Yeah, it's the trash pile. Yeah. He had saved up so many aluminum cans that he bought his little boy Zeno a moped. Y'all remember the moped? A little moped you could buy him at Sears. A little moped. Sound like a mad bumblebee. You understand? And he told his little boy, his daddy said, he said, Zeno, he says, T-boy, he says, look, whatever you do, don't take that motorcycle out of this trash pile, no. Because you're going to go out onto that main road, and they're going to kill you, Nay. I don't want to lose you. I love you too much. You're my only son. Zeno E.D., tracas pa toi, daddy, I'm not going to do it. Never tell a Cajun not to do something. He's going to do it. Am I right? He's going to do it. So one day, Daddy was way in the back over there burning some trash. Zeno, il a fait right around you, sur son moped. He saw Daddy way in the back. He goes, oh, now's my chance. He went out on the main road. He comes up to a red light, and he's sitting at a red light. Now, you got to picture this. This is a Cajun Hell's Angel on a moped. Up next to him pulls up a Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL Kmart car. A big pretty thing. Zeno's going, Keeyaw. He kind of leaned over a little bit to see that car. He goes, Keeyaw. Look at all the formica on the inside of that car. Am I dating myself with that word formica? How many of y'all know what formica is? Okay. Keeyaw. He said, hey. He said, that car is fast, Dad? The guy goes, well, it's one of the fastest cars in the world. Zeno sit back a little bit. Then the guy says, The light turns to green. The man says, I'm going to show this little Cajun how fast it is. He hits that gas pedal. Boom! He's gone. Rom! Shoom! He looks in his rearview mirror. He sees a little black dot way in the back. All of a sudden, that little black dot is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then he hears, he looks in the front of him, and all of a sudden it's coming back. He looks in his mirror, and it's coming back again. Well, it hit him right in the trunk of the car. The man stops his car. He gets out and he goes, checks on the little Cajun. He says, man, are you okay? And the little Cajun goes, yeah. He says, I'm all right. He says, can I do anything for you? He goes, yeah. He says, you want to unhook my suspender off your rearview mirror if you don't? It's a visual, people. It's a visual. Cajun. That's how we are, man. Cajuns have one thing nobody else has got, and it's called joie de vivre. Am I right, my Cajuns? Cajuns need to leave that here. You understand? When people ask you to vote for the gambling thing, vote no. And I'll tell you why. It's going to bring people from all over the United States down here. And what's going to happen is they're going to breed with your children. And then we're going to lose the Cajun people. So stop that. Am I right? Stop that. Cajuns marry Cajun. Cajuns got this thing called common sense. I mean, you can never get us in a bind. We can never be in a bind because we can think that fast. I have a man who flies me every now and then when I do shows out of town. He flies me to New Orleans, to Houston, to Crowley. It's a long trip from here to Crowley, man. He was flying his airplane. Now, one day, we was in the airplane, and the weather was kind of bad. I mean, it was mauvais. It was bad. I said, hey, T-boy. I said, whatever happens if your dashboard goes out? Your instruments for you people not from here. What happens if you lose all your radar and all that stuff? He goes, Patraka, man, no problem. He said, I'll reach between my legs. I'll grab a fifth of whiskey. I'll drink about half of it, and I'll put it on a dashboard, and I can see if the plane is level that way. And when I'm ready to land, I'll reach back there, and I'll grab this duck by the neck, and I'll hang him out the window, and when his feet do like that, I'm putting it down. Cajun, that's just the way he is. I don't think we whip children enough today. Do you agree with that? I don't mean beat them, no. I mean whip them. When you was a kid, did you not get whipped? When mama said, go get a switch. Don't come back with this, no. Mama's gonna go outside and put up the whole azalea tree. You understand what I'm telling? Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, no. Yeah, it's true. My mama was a Cajun ninja. You heard of Kung Fu? My mama's name was Bien Fu. You know how them ninjas got those little metal stars that they can throw in Keeyaw, those little metal stars? My mama had a wet dish rag, people. She could kill a chicken at 20 feet. You understand what I'm telling you? And don't ever think you can say something bad about your mama, because the minute you turn that corner, whoop! get to travel, Keeyaw. I go all over the country, man, and see all kind of weird things, you understand? I'm sitting at a bar one night, and I was drinking some 7-Up. A little Bud Light on the side. These two women were sitting next to me, and they was kind of like talking, but they started talking loud. And one woman said to the other one, she goes, I'm telling you, my husband is uglier than yours. And the other goes, no, 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 no. Now, we was in a little town just outside of South Louisiana, yeah. No, 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 my husband is the ugliest one they got. And the other one goes, no, no, I'll tell you what, I'll bet you $100 that my husband is uglier than your husband. And they pointed to me, you be the judge. I don't know these two ladies. Come with us. How come? Where I'm going? What? That was some strong 7-Up, yeah. When two women say, come with us. Oh, okay. I mean, ha. We go to the first lady's house. We walk in there. She goes, hold up. Hey! That voice changed again. Hey! Come out here, you! So the husband comes out. Everybody went, oh, God! Man, I'm taking the $100 bill out, I'm fixing to give it. The other one said, oh, no, hold up. You haven't been to my house yet. So we got into the Vega. Good, you caught that. That's cool, thank you. We went to the other mobile home. We went to this nice, right next to the mall, this is a great big beautiful house. We walk into the house. She goes, Joey, y'all hold up right there. She walked into the kitchen, she goes, Raph, come see, come help me. She goes, come help me move this table. We pick up this table, we move it out the way. There's a carpet on the floor right there. She goes, help me move the carpet. So we roll up the carpet. Now there's a trap door under the carpet. Don't get ahead of me, people. She opened up the trap door. She goes, hey! Come out here, you! You can hear the husband, he's going, you want me to put a bag on my head? She says, no, I don't want to make love to you. I just want to show you to somebody. And that's how Cajun people are, man. Keeyaw! Get. I was going through a little town here in South Louisiana called Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. How many people have a Pompano? Breaux Bridge! Workman's comp capital of the world. I'm driving through there and I see this great big revival tent. I mean a big tent. And grow tent. Me, I'm taking festival. I'm going hot dog, you know. I walk in there, again, it was a revival meeting. A revival meeting, blood and glory, was going on. I'm sitting back there and the preacher was going, now brothers and sisters, I can heal you. I can take care of you. I can fix whatever you have. I can heal you. All you have to do is believe. You have to have faith. You have to believe. Little old man, he walked up there on some crutches. The reverend looked at him, he goes, do you believe, my son? The little man, he goes, oh, yeah, nah. He goes, I believe you. Keeyaw. I believe I got faith. Oh, my eyes is crossed now. I got faith. Yes, indeed. So the preacher, bam, hit him in the head. Boom, he threw his crutches. Now he's the cock of the bayou. He can walk. The man, you notice how they walk like a rooster? He can walk. This little woman walks up to the preacher. She's got glasses that's tick, 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 tick. Coke bottle, tick. do you believe? She goes, oh, Yanty boy, I believe. I think you're better than Jimmy and you. I believe. Oh, some of y'all forgot about Jimmy, huh? Yeah. Ah. Wham, he hit her in the head. Bayou, she had 40-40 vision. She's like an eagle, boy. She could see for miles. The preacher's walking out the church. There was a man there in the wheelchair. The preacher walks up to him. He says, man, do you believe? He goes, oh, yeah. He says, I believe. He says, do you have faith? He goes, oh, yeah, I got faith. He goes, come here so I can heal you. He goes, oh, no. He says, I'm on workman's comp. I'm going to tell you people something that my grandmother told me a long time ago. She said, Ralph. She couldn't say Ralph. It was Ralph. If everybody would practice the 10 Commandments, we'd have no need for the 11 o'clock news. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Bien merci. Mon nom c'est Ralph Begno. Bien merci. Bien merci. Bien merci. Thank you. Cajun! Thank you. Thank you.
Again, these guys, y'all want to come out again? Come on out here again. Mr. Joe Lilly. There's Joe Lilly. Mr. Ken Gosselin. Mr. A.J. Smith. Hey, Smith. Mr. Ed Desatil. The Koch brothers.